Good morning, student. Today we have a second part of our Civics, chapter number 1, what is democracy and why democracy. In the first part, we discussed the first part of this chapter, that is related to the what is democracy, and in second part we will discuss why democracy. Under the why democracy, first we take the argument against the democracy and argument then favors of democracy. Then we take a broader meaning of democracy, especially under the broader meaning of democracy we will discuss the representative democracy. That is the current form of democracy, or in the time of the today, that is runs and we elect our representative. In the last part, then we take the difference between the democratic government and dictatorship government. So first we start with the argument in the favor of and in the against of democracy. First we have a argument against the democracy. So first point, we have a instability. There will be always instability because leaders keep changing in our democracy. This leads to instability because human nature always have to change, and leaders always change their opinions about the government and democracy. This led towards the instability of a government. Then no morality. We know that all politics runs for the power, and the power-hungry politicians always spoils the morality of democracy. Then there will be a delays. Under this, we know that people have to consulted in a democracy that, and this always delays due to human nature. Sometimes there will be a bad decisions. Elected leaders do not know the best interest of the people, and it leads to the bad decision because sometimes they are selfish by the natures. They are corrupt. Democracy leads to corruption because it is based on electoral competition, and to win the electoral competition they always use the money power, and even the ordinary people don't know what is good for them, and they should not decide anything. Mostly the citizens of a country have illiterate, and illiterate citizens are ignorant citizens, and they didn't interest in elections, didn't interest in the political affairs. Now we have an argument in the favors of democracy. In the times of 1958 to 1961, there will be a famines in China that record the first famines in the history of China, and mostly the 3 crore people dies by this famines. But on the other side, India have on its less effect of its famine, and economy of China totally damaged and totally unstable due to this famine, but there is a little and mostly near to 1% effect on Indian economy. Why it's? Because Indian government always more accountable form of government, a respectable government, and the government who cares the peoples. Then the improvement of the quality of decisions. Students, you know that in the democratic form of government, decisions are not taken by a single person. Decisions are always in form of collective form. You know that we elected ministers, we elected MPs, MLAs. These MP, MLAs take the decision for the betterment of a country. If there will be one single person who takes the decision, then there will be a chances for less qualitative decisions. or selfish decision, but a decision taken by a group of persons should be always improved by the quality. Then, methods to deal with the difference and conflicts. A country like India have multi-religious country. In that, there will be a different persons on the basis of language, caste, color, religion, culture, dresses, foods. So it is always similar that the persons have the different, then their interests should be different and interests should be clash to each other. So if a person takes the decision, a single person, then he always favors in his class or in his caste, his religion, his language. But in the democracy, decisions are always taken by a group of ministers. So there will be a less chances that a group should be belong to a single caste, single religion, single language. So these led to that. These means that it deals with the difference and complex by a wise, intelligent method. Enhances the dignity of citizens. Students, you know that during the times of election, the ministers, the VIPs always visit to our villages, our to homes, meet to us, and we feel that we have the importance. They always ask and always try to compromise with us for the favors of voting. They know that if they ignore us, they ignore their voters, they ignore their votes, and then they will be lost. And it is due to democracy that every person is equal to and equal freedom in the eyes of law. So this means that rich or poor, higher or lower, all have equal political right. Even rich use their political right. A person who spent his life on the roadsides equally use his political right. This means every person has the dignity in democracy. Allows to correct its mistakes. Under the democracy, decisions are always correct because there will be a correct box, a correction room is there. If the government take the wrong decisions, then he shortly corrected his decisions. If the people take the wrong decision, they also have a time of 5 or 4 years to correct its decision. So these arguments always a betterment for person. Now we have a broader meaning. Students, you have to know that democracy is a limited and descriptive sense. We take the meaning when in the starting page that democracy is always by the people. But now in the last part of the chapters, we know that democracy is not related to by the people. It is for the people and of the people. In the democracy, it is a time of representative democracy. Representative democracy means we elected our representative and these representatives work for us. This is known as a representative democracy. For example, we select our MPs and our MLAs. These MPs and MLAs make the policies and run the government in favors of us. And by these representatives, we participate in the work of government. Students, you know that if there will be no democracy, then we can't use our political rights. And you have to know that all people can't take the decision. Even they have the majority, they didn't, then they have a time. And it is impossible for a person who take the decision in the collective form. For example, India have a population of 127 crore in the current time or latest census. But out of 120, there will be a 100 crore population who have the right to vote, means who have the citizen, who have the voters. Do you think that these 100 crore sits on a one place and take the decision? It's impossible. Even they sit, that they didn't have a time to participate. So, we always use our political right by the representative. These representatives are elected by us. And even the persons or citizens do not have the skill and desire to take part in democracy. So, we always use our representative to take decision. And in the modern democracy involves such a large number of people that it is physically impossible for them to sit on a one place, collect and take the collective democracy or collective decisions. So in democracy, majority of peoples rule though they are elective representative. And in democracy, every citizen must be able to play the equal roles in decision making. For this, you don't need just an equal right to vote that every person in India have who have the age of 18, name in the voter list, have the voting right. This is called universal adult franchise, means every person who have the age of 18 have the right to vote without any discrimination of color, caste, religion and language or other discrimination. And every citizen need the equal information, basic education, so he will be know about the conditions of a government, equal resources and lot of commitment. This is all about the democracy. Now, in the last part of this portion, we make the difference between the democratic and dictatorship. In the democracy, power is always in the hand of peoples, but in the dictatorship, power is always in the hand of individual or dictator. In democracy, people has the right to choose his government, his elective or representative, though the election, while in the dictatorship, the people don't choose their government. It is dictator who run the government. People enjoy the freedom to speech and expression. They have the other fundamental right. But on the other side, the people don't have any political right, any social right, any fundamental right. It depends on the dictator how many rights he will provide to their citizens. In democracy, all citizens is equal in the eyes of law, but there will be no equality, and the class whom to that dictator belong should have the superior, should have the power. Policies are made for the benefits of people, means the people have the welfare. Government works in such way that people should be benefited. Every person take the benefit, even he is poor or rich. Everybody have the equal benefit by the law or the policies made by the government. But on the other side, policies are always favors of individual or the class whom to that dictator belong. This is all about our chapter. So, it's the end of this chapter. We know that democracy is always better, because in this democracy we have the right, we can choose the government, we have the political right to participate in election, have the right to vote and other rights. But if the citizens have the knowledge and the power to participate in government and the representative work for the people, then that is called democracy in the real sense. But if the representatives are under any person, like in the Pakistan, then there will be no democracy, or the democracy always in the paper but not in the real sense. This is all about our civics chapter number 1. Chapter is easy, but if you take interest. Thank you.